From the most shocking collabs thawing out in the new update to us discovering who's on the naughty and nice list in Fortnite, and even Renegade Raider and Aerial Assault Troopers return, Fortnite Winterfest is filled with secret details. And this season, something returning is none other than our favorite festive character, Sergeant Winter, but now Fortnite's added a hilarious Easter egg to him. This year, the Sergeant is going to be patrolling on the map like he always does, but he's working on his list, deciding who gets to be on the naughty or nice side. By taking a quick look, you can see from this piece of paper that Bushranger, Guff, and Hope are all on his nice list, which makes complete sense. But look over to the other side and you'll realize that Sergeant Winter is on his own naughty list, which is simply hilarious. This is because he's known for his grumpy attitude every Winterfest, and it's completely in character. What also is an Epic's character is for them to add popular internet phrases in Fortnite style, and this one's no exception. If you talk to the Doperman skin NPC, his first dialogue sounds a little bit too familiar. He'll greet you by saying, "Hey there, Lil Roll," which is a reference to the phrase "Hey there, Lil Bro" on the internet, so we see you, Epic. But what nobody saw coming is the new Easter egg found on the Chapter 6 map that reveals one of the most wanted collabs in Fortnite's community. If you visit the wintry version of Seaport City, by exploring, you're surely going to come across a cel-shaded backbling that's been thrown onto the road. This is no ordinary backbling, as even by the music playing in the city's background, loyal fans will know that this is a huge teaser confirming the popular virtual singer Hatsune Miku coming to Fortnite after countless community memes of her being in Fortnite, so it looks like Fortnite have heard our prayers. Someone who definitely isn't coming to Fortnite this year though is a collab that was ready to release but got scrapped last minute. You might already know what I'm referring to, and it's the Die Hard collab that was leaked not too long ago, featuring a John McClane skin concept that would have added his skin as well as a pickaxe and his iconic pistol attached to his back, making for the perfect Christmas collaboration. Not a lot of players know this though, but instead of adding Die Hard in the game, Epic added a mock-up skin in John McClane's place. That's right, because you may remember the Flatfoot skin that was added in game in Chapter 2 Season 1's Winterfest, and it's meant to represent a female version of the infamous movie character that Fortnite came up with, since they couldn't actually end up adding him. So now our only request is that someday we'll get to see an actual collab with Die Hard on Winterfest. And they also finally saw our requests because the single Christmas wish of every Fortnite player just got real. With the Winterfest update, the weather on Chapter 6's map has gotten chilly enough for it to snow absolutely everywhere. Nearly 60% of the map is now covered, creating the perfect Christmas vibe all around the island, and a few festive decorations have also been placed around the map, giving it that cozy winter vibe we've all been yearning for so long. Instead of hearing about it though, you might have seen this enormous iceberg that's appeared in the island's very center. This is Chapter 6's first mini live event like we saw in Chapter 5, but it's going to be very different than what we've already seen. This time, the iceberg is going to be slowly defrosting until Winterfest begins, and once it breaks open, it'll reveal someone nobody expected to join us this year in Fortnite, being the singer Mariah Carey herself, who sings the song "All I Want for Christmas." And when the iceberg breaks, it's going to release a few huge chunks of ice with chests on top of them, and a small Christmas themed POI with a few Christmas trees and candy canes all around, alongside Mariah Carey herself as an NPC. You may even notice a couple of small gingerbread cookies riding around in decorated llamas nearby, and we can only hope that nothing bad will happen to them when the iceberg explodes. The best part of this all is the free reward that we'll all be getting after this though, because if she hasn't already, by the time she's defrosted, you'll be able to interact with her NPC and get yourself a free emote, which is none other than the classic "All I Want for Christmas Is You" dance. And this is just the start of mini events in Chapter 6, because Epic is working on a huge new feature that'll shape the future of the island literally. You might remember Chapter 1 Season 7 where the map changed right before our eyes into a snowy state. Well, after many years, Epic is finally planning on doing this again a lot more regularly, but changing POIs live in game. The sequence could even have us be rifted into the sky so you can watch POIs change from above, so this will be huge for upcoming events. And let's not forget that at the end of this year, we once again are going to be celebrating around the island with the New Year's event that has occurred every year ever since Chapter 1 Season 7. To this day, it uses references from the Fortnite live events that occurred in its 2018 run, making it a very sentimental and nostalgic event at the end of each year. But before that happens though, we're gonna have plenty of time to open presents in this year's Winterfest cabin. The free skin rewards include a festive version of Snoop Dogg, who we recently saw in Remix, and a new skin, as well as a winter version of the Yellow Jacket outfit called Yule Jacket, a clever play on words. The two won't come alone, as there's also many other free rewards like pickaxes, backblings, contrails, sprays, and yes, even a festive guitar instrument. Little do most people know that getting a Santa version of Snoop Dogg wasn't random, because it's actually inspired by various meme media portraying him as Santa, as well as a reference to one of his songs. There's another neat Easter egg with him though, as by visiting the cabin, you can watch Snoop and the new Flaky the Snowbird skin sit on the couch playing a game, and the game is none other than Fortnite itself, as you can even hear the sounds coming from the TV. The cabin itself is filled with many other secrets though, because it's decorated with Japanese masks and artwork within, all artifacts that can be found on the new Chapter 6 island, matching the theme of this season. What surprised many people though is that there were supposed to be more characters inside the cabin, because initially it looks like Epic was also planning for the new Guff skin to be present, although this was scrapped for unknown reasons. However, there is a reason for the addition of a festive landmark, and it wouldn't be a proper map if we didn't have it here for Winterfest. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the Crackshot cabin, which was also included in Chapter 1 and 2, so it looks like it's just too iconic to not be included in the new maps. If you go inside on the Chapter 6 map, you'll notice that the moment you enter, everything inside turns black and white with a noir filter. This is because of a secret investigation plotline that can be found in dialogue with Sergeant Winter and the Sleuth skins. And speaking of skins, tons are now being teased, and many others have arrived. In a shocking reveal, we got one of the weirdest memes as a skin in Fortnite, and you might have already guessed what I'm talking about. It's the infamous toilet. This has got to be one of the most controversial collabs because it caused the community to think Epic will literally add anything into the game to make a profit. And aside from that, there's two other surprise characters that already correct one of Epic's biggest mistakes. You may remember Darth Vader was locked behind a battle pass in Chapter 3 Season 3, with everyone being upset in later seasons that one of the best villains in all of fiction was locked behind a battle pass and no longer obtainable. This has now all changed because Epic's found a way to add Vader to the item shop. We're soon going to be getting a Star Wars samurai inspired outfit, not only matching the season's theme but also giving us a brand new Darth Vader samurai skin. We don't know yet what it looks like, but judging from the concept art found on the internet, we can only assume it's going to be insane when he gets added. This also might mean we get a new Darth Vader lightsaber katana pickaxe, since it's bound to have a different design from the original lightsabers, so technically Disney could allow it. Everyone's hoping this is the case because you might remember last time the pickaxe they added for Darth Vader was just a spoon. Star Wars isn't the only franchise getting samurai skins in Fortnite, because with many DC skins being updated recently, there's a huge leak hinting at 2 new DC skins, and once again it matches the theme of this season. The feudal Gotham set is likely to feature 2 new outfits, a new version of Batman called Batman Ninja, and a new skin for none other than Harley Quinn. Fortnite also has added Christmas content for Fortnite OG, and it seemingly confirms updates for it will follow the pattern of old Fortnite updates that we saw. This time we got the bush item, which might just be an unvault, but it means we're on track to receive weekly updates, matching how these items were released in the old days. But something else from the old days coming back is the return of the season shop. You heard that right, Epic is planning on bringing the OG shop from Chapter 1 Season 1 back once more. And they even re-added the images for Renegade Raider into the files, meaning in this season shop we could see these cosmetics return. You'll be able to progress this shop with XP and your progress will be visible in the item shop, so it's a great way of bringing the idea back. But speaking of bringing things back, this year is actually the closest we've ever been to getting a full snow map ever since Chapter 2 Season 1. It started when we got the first fully snowed in map in Chapter 1 Season 7 with the Ice King event, and the Chapter 2 map followed the same trend in Season 1. But ever since, we've only been getting partially snowed maps, which while cool has also annoyed the community, especially in instances like Chapter 2 Season 5 or Chapter 4 where the map barely had any snow on it. Luckily, both this chapter and last year's Chapter 5 have had their fair share of snow, making them exceptions to this, but players still have hope that one day Epic will realize their mistake and return back to their original plan of giving us the full snow map at least on Christmas Day. And if you like presents, you'll be surprised to hear that this year lacks one core gameplay aspect we had in Chapter 5's Winterfest, and that's the presents. I'm not talking about the ones in the Winterfest cabin, but instead the items found in game. You could find those in the small Winterberg island that didn't return this year as well, and they would reward you with different weapon utility items. And we can't forget about Fortnite's secret Winterfest boss fight. That's right, because last year hidden on the Chapter 5 map was a festive boss that you could go up against, one which you might remember as Krampus. He could be found in a small house atop the snow mountains and would hunt you either until you eliminated him or him you. Once defeated, he would drop a legendary chest filled with golden loot, so please keep your eyes open this year because you never know where Krampus could be lurking. Speaking of presents though, another neat secret with the Winterfest cabin was during Chapter 3 Season 1. That year's event brought back the festive cabin with Sergeant Winter after it wasn't added in Chapter 2 Season 5, and players could interact with items like bells that played Christmas music or find consumables in a fridge, which would change daily, and it was pretty cool to see. Not nearly as entertaining though as Winterfest 2019's cabin, which by far had the most Easter eggs out of them all. By selecting nearly any item, it would direct you to a place in the cabin where you could see what was going on, like Peely menacingly looking at you from outside the cabin, or even the fireplace that only a few know would grant you a decent amount of XP if you stayed there for a long amount of time. But arguably the funniest one of them all was the saxophone, which upon being selected would start hovering and play itself. We can only hope we'll be getting something like that soon, but we can also be getting very soon is an iconic crossover with one of the most successful animated movie franchises ever. In a new line of dialogue by the Empress Mizuki NPC, she references a dragon warrior, and you might already know where this is going. This could very well be foreshadowing the arrival of Kung Fu Panda as a collab in Fortnite. How a post skin would work is a concern to many people, but we're already seeing the Godzilla skin, so it's clear Epic can make anything do, and it remains to be seen whether or not this is actually gonna happen. But beneath the island, you can also find a hidden basement with a few interesting Easter eggs from Chapter 2. The one you won't help but instantly spot is the gnome from Chapter 2, who had once taken over another similar basement as his base of operations, and now he's done it again. In the same room, you can also find Midas's gold chair, which we have no idea how it ended up here, but it's cool to see nonetheless. And it's not the only secret place in Chapter 6, as by driving around the map, you should come across a huge tunnel that's being built underneath a mountain. So it looks like there will be construction going on for the rest of this season. But if you take a look off in the distance, you won't be able to miss another enormous snow mountain that stands high and mighty. At first, many people speculated this was a volcano that would lead to the chapter's end event, but after a more careful look, you'll realize this is actually a reference to the infamous Japanese mountain, Mount Fuji, and what better map for it to be on than this one. But something many people forget is there was another map with lots of similar references, which was the Chapter 4 map with its mega biome. A prime example is the new lighthouse in Chapter 6, which is actually identical to the ones we saw in Chapter 4. And it makes sense as this island is actually the same place that the mega biome was rifted in from the Chapter 4 map, where you can see buildings coming in the trailer. But there's another artifact from Chapter 4 that's made its return, and this one is arguably the most important and hilarious at the same time. You may recall coming across some strange frog statues back in Chapter 4 and especially around the mega biome. Now we know where they originated from because there's a landmark called Fighting Frogs featuring a small dojo and multiple frog statues both watching and fighting within the arena. Speaking of frogs though, another important return to the Chapter 6 map is the frog family from Chapter 5. After everything that we saw them go through last season, it looks like they survived to tell the tale and are all living happily in a small hill similar to their own from the last map. So we should keep an eye on them in the next few updates. But on the other side of the map, over at the Night Shift Forest where it's always night, there's actually a secret way to restore sunlight to the location. That's right, because you simply need to find one of the new sprites that run around the map and bring it to Bushranger, who's an NPC at the location. Upon doing so, sunlight will be restored and you'll even be granted a key to open a secret vault door found at the POI. But speaking of other locations on the map, have you noticed anything peculiar within them? Because I'm referring to the new robot servants that have been seen across the whole map. They seem to be running everything around the island from office jobs to even simple care of houses, so it looks like the inhabitants of the island evolved enough for them to fully automate everything inside. That's been a ton of secret details in Fortnite's new update. Like and subscribe for more.